Today, we're talking about the most recent injury update around Jaden Ivey. We're also going to be talking about Leonard Miller and his current play and how this will play into the Chicago Bulls' future. And so before we go ahead and we jump into it, I first want to remind you to slam dunk on that subscribe button, just like Modest Mazelis slam dunks in games. And so in exchange for slamming on that subscribe button, I'm going to give you nothing but daily content around the Chicago Bulls. And so make sure that you hit that like, you hit that subscribe, and you join the Chicago Bulls Insider family as we talk nothing but Chicago Bulls basketball. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and let's jump into it. And let's start with the latest around Jaden Ivey. And so if you've not got a chance to see this, I saw this on ESPN.com. And so it looks like that Jaden Ivey has practiced with the Windy City Bulls, and he has been called back up to the Chicago Bulls. And so what does this mean for the Chicago Bulls? And so number one, I think that this is a good sign that Jaden Ivey was able to participate in practice there with the Windy City Bulls. And so he is listed as a game time decision on ESPN.com, which maybe suggests that maybe a return of Jaden Ivey could be sooner rather than later. And so the last time Billy Donovan did talk about Jaden Ivey, he did say that he would be looking to see Jaden Ivey get back out there at some point this season. And so maybe we are close to that. And I think that the significance here is that the Chicago Bulls really need to continue to evaluate Jaden Ivey because he's heading into restricted free agency. I get the fact that the Chicago Bulls can really match any of the offers and things like that, but you really need to find out, okay, do you want to bring him back? Is he one of the long-term pieces that you would want? Because we've talked about this with Jaden Ivey. You know, he could be, maybe a steal in this trade with the Detroit Pistons, but you really have to see what he can do. No, he's still working through the injuries with the knee and then also to the broken leg there. And so hopefully Jaden Ivey is able to really take off here with this last 15 games or so, because I do think that the playing time is going to be there, even if he's on a minute restriction or they are taking him out of back-to-backs. I still think that there's enough time to really see what he can do, especially with Anthony Simons out right now. And then also too, Colin Sexton has been out too. So I think that there is some runway here for Jaden Ivey to see what he can do. And so right now, currently has him down for 11.5 points per game, 2 steals. He's also at 4.8 rebounds, 4 assists, and he's shooting 88.9% from the free throw line and 38.1% from downtown in 28.8 minutes here with the Chicago Bulls. And so hopefully Jaden Ivey is able to really pick it up here after taking some time off with this knee. And hopefully the Bulls are able to really see something here, see those flashes that they have obviously saw with the Detroit Pistons. Is he a player that you can build with? I think we are going to find that out. And so that's the latest about Jaden Ivey, his potential return. Next, I wanted to go ahead and shift focus and talk about Leonard Miller. And so, look, if you have been on the post games, the last couple post games, I have talked about Leonard Miller and I've talked about how well he has looked. And I just think that with the way that Leonard Miller is playing, I think that he's certainly showing that, look, he belongs with the Chicago Bulls' future plans in their build of this team. And I'm not saying that he's going to be a starter. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, he's going to turn the Chicago Bulls into NBA champions or anything like that. But what I am seeing with Leonard Miller is I'm seeing a solid rotational player. And when we're talking about a rotational player and what that means, you're talking about a player that you believe is reliable off the bench and also too as a starter. And I think that he's showing that he can be a contributor certainly off the bench. And I think also too, he's showing that if somebody does go down, he can also be a starter as well. And I'm loving the versatility with Leonard Miller because the way that he's scoring the basketball, it's been in many different ways. It's been as a slasher. He's knocked down 3-point shots. He's got to the free throw line as well. And they're not running plays for him. And so I love that. And then on top of that, aside from the offense, I love what I'm seeing from him as a rebounder. Like he is making sure that he's an impact every time he's out there, and you love that. And so I think that what you're seeing with Leonard Miller is a consistent role player. And so I think that it is early on. I get it. It's a small sample size, man. But just looking at the numbers for Leonard Miller, okay, in Phoenix, he had 8 points and he had 9 rebounds in that game. And he also had 1 turnover. And so he shot 33% from the field and he knocked down his free throw shot there. In Sacramento, didn't get any minutes, but Golden State, the team gave him 38 minutes in that game. He responded with the 17 points. He had 11 rebounds. He had an assist. He had a block shot. He had a steal in that game and no turnovers. He shot 50% from the field. The Lakers, he played 31 minutes in that game, 15 points. He had 1 steal. He had 1 assist and 9 rebounds. And then on this last game against the Clippers here, played 36 minutes, 14 points, 2 steals. He had 3 assists and 8 rebounds, shot 42.9% from the field. And so, I think the trend that you're seeing there is that as you give Leonard Miller the minutes, he's responding. He has certainly taken it serious since he's come over from the Minnesota Timberwolves and really taken advantage of this opportunity. And I like the fact that, again, what you are also seeing, I cannot state this, just even more. It's just the rebounding aspect of that. So even if he's not scoring, he is getting you rebounds, which is huge. And so, I'm not saying that Leonard Miller is a Peyton Watson type of player, anything like that, where you say, okay, he's, great for a championship type of roster or whatever. But I do think for the Bulls right now and what they're looking for is they're trying to build out this team. You're looking for solid rotational pieces. He's certainly that player. I think that he's shown me more than what Patrick Williams has shown me this season and maybe in a couple seasons. And so I want to see some more from Leonard Miller. I think, again, he could potentially, be a piece for this team as far as a solid rotational player. And so anyway, you guys let me know in the comments here, what do you guys think about Leonard Miller? Should he be a player that is playing some more for the Chicago Bulls? Do you think that he's a player that should be a part of this team moving forward in their long term? So keep in mind, he is under contract, for another season, but would you like to continue to see him, maybe past that contract year, especially if he's able to continue to play this way? Again, I love the fact that he competes on defense. I'm not saying that he's an elite defender or anything like that, but you see a player that competes hard. He's not making the same mistakes out there. And then if you notice, he's always getting coached up there by Billy Donovan. He's wanting to be coached. He wants to be pushed and everything else. And so Leonard Miller has responded very well since being traded over to the Chicago Bulls. And quietly, he might turn into the player that is a steal for the Chicago Bulls in that trade where you traded off, Ayo Dosunmu. And so he's not going to be him, but I think that maybe there's the chance that he could be maybe even better than Rob Dillingham. And so I think a lot of people maybe pencil Rob Dillingham as the steal in that trade, but it could be Leonard Miller. And so you guys let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking there. And then also too, let me know what you're thinking with Jayden Ivey. And so with Jayden Ivey and the potential return this season, do you think that Jayden Ivey in these 15 games is going to show that he could really be a piece here for the Chicago Bulls as they continue to rebuild this roster out? So anyway, you guys let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking. And look, as we always say, go Bulls, and I will see you guys on the next one. All right, peace.